Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com, setting the record straight about expert forecasts. Experts say that Earth is in a lot of trouble. According to the United Nations, we only have until the year 2000 to stop global warming. June 30th, 1989. Grim forecast. A senior environmental official at the United Nations, Noel Brown, says entire nations could be wiped off the face of the Earth by rising sea levels if global warming is not reversed by the year 2000. Coastal flooding and crop failures would create an exodus of eco-refugees, threatening political chaos, said Brown, director of the New York office of the UN Environment Program. He said governments have a 10-year window of opportunity to solve the greenhouse effect before it goes beyond human control. The year 2000 was a rough year because we not only got wiped out by global warming, but then the Y2K bug came along and took out everyone which global warming didn't get the first time. And for those few people who survived global warming and the Y2K bug, then they had to put up with snowfall disappearing in the year 2000. Dr. David Viner at the University of East Anglia said that children just aren't going to know what snow is. And then 4 years later, the chief scientist of the United Kingdom said that we were all going to have to move to Antarctica because of global warming. May 2nd, 2004. Antarctica is likely to be the world's only habitable continent by the end of the century if global warming remains unchecked, the government's chief scientist, Professor Sir David King, said last week. The good news about this is that children who are lucky enough to move to Antarctica will get to know what snow is. And then in 2009, NASA's leading climate experts said that President Obama only has 4 years left to save the Earth. In other words, the deadline was 2013. However, Australia's chief scientist was a little bit more optimistic. She said we had 5 years to save the world from global warming. That gave us until the year 2014. The planet miraculously survived the year 2000, and it survived 2013, and it survived 2014, and nobody's moving to Antarctica quite yet. But now we only have until the year 2020 to save the world from global warming, and 2020 is coming up pretty quick. And not only that, by the year 2020, Britain will have a Siberian climate, nuclear conflict, mega droughts, famine, and widespread rioting will erupt across the world. And if all this news isn't bad enough, in 1934 it was reported that melting icebergs were going to engulf the world and drown New York City. And 50 years ago, our leading experts said that the oceans were going to be dead by the year 1980, America will be subject to water rationing by 1974, and food rationing by 1980. Apparently we all died decades ago from global warming, but if that isn't bad enough, in 1971 NASA and the Washington Post said we're going to have a new ice age in the next 50 years, and that's coming up next year. So with a new ice age coming in next year, people might want to rethink their plans to move to Antarctica. And the most important thing to remember is that you do not have the scientific qualifications to question these highly qualified government experts. Toto believes everything these experts say. After all, if they weren't really smart, how could they have gotten into these positions of authority? You can visit Toto and Kyrie on the web at realclimatescience.com.